Hey, boys and girls, Chef PV Troy here, QSLabs. We have a Drone Co. shot collar on our bench. And this is actually our first unit that we built a couple of weeks ago. It was with one of the very first pre-production versions of the frame. Chris sent it to us. We had bought one from him and we decided to build it. After we built it and Chris built his first and a couple other people gave their feedback, some new versions are coming now. And we have those frames, which are going into our production builds going forward. So we've got some on that we're batching and building for some orders. And I was about to take my first one apart to do a quick switch over of the main base plate on the drone portion. And I know that may not make sense, but I'm about to show you what I mean. And the reason why I turned the camera on was I just thought this was really cool to highlight how smart of a design Chris came up with and why we chose to work with Chris and his frame rather than go out and actually continue to pursue a similar frame that we were looking at doing ourselves. And I'll tell you, there's some things that this in particular that I would have probably never thought of. So what I mean by that is this is actually two main pieces that go together. And depending on how you build it, if you build it the way we do, you're actually able to take out a couple of screws. So I already took the mount off, the Cineplate mount that we're going to be mounting on this. And that's one of the reasons I took it off. And one of the reasons I have to change this is we had a 3D printed clean plate and battery tray. The new base plate has a little bit different mounting points for the clean plate. So I can't just put the new clean plate on my old frame, but I can use the cage because that stayed the same. So we took a couple of screws out already. Like I said, we've taken the main frame or the main clean plate off, which took a couple of screws out already too before we turned the camera on. But we're gonna get this last screw or two or three out, which we got 1, 2, and 3. So the reason I'm doing this is I want to show you how awesome this is to replace just the cage if you break it by crashing or hitting something maybe. And it's a pretty robust cage system. If you were to break it or need to change it, watch what you do. Take this out, right? We're going to unplug the air unit from the flight controller. Bada bing, bada boom. You've got the main drone components here. The air unit, the way we mount it, it's going to stay here because we wanted the air unit to stay in the cage unless you absolutely have to swap it. And that way the antennas and the camera mount and all those things can just stay in the cage. So you need to work on this thing. You can pull the whole thing out and now it's sitting right here on the bench and we can basically switch this entire frame plate out in just a few seconds. Or if I had to get to the flight controller or something, I could get to it. We also on this one happen to put an extra capacitor on there that is actually on the power output. So the BEC that would then also be in here to power your camera, your HD camera. You could also hot swap and change out because we're going to put just a little plug in there for you. So this is just a quick look at something that I again just thought was a really, really smart, well thought out design and one of the biggest reasons why we decided to start building these shot collars. And I appreciate Chris for letting QSL be a part of that. Part of that is going to be the DAC mount that's integrated into that clean plate for HD mounts. We'll be helping provide, and James Neer, who designed it, is going to be selling those to us so we can get them distributed and wholesaled and retailed. You can find that at our website. Chris also will soon have those probably in stock. Last thing, the other cool thing about this is everything is also isolated a little more. So the drone itself only being mounted to the cages in a couple of points actually should, and I don't have the data yet on this, but should provide a much cleaner noise profile than say a one-piece unibody all the way across, which also, again, breaking a unibody, you're going to have to tear the whole thing down to replace. On this, we can actually build you extra cages Once we have this in full production, we will offer additional built cage sets that you will be able to basically take your DJI Air unit, switch it over, and within even just a few more seconds, be ready to go. So anyways, that's what we're doing. Fly safe, fly smart, just fly. Call your shot. Peace.